Okay. In the name of the God, the compassionate, the merciful, this is your brother, Abdul Adud, aka Questman. Um, I'd like to begin greeting the family, those coming into the live, with Salam Alaikum, Shalom, Hotep, peace be with you, and every other formula in which we use to imply peace. Before I continue, I'm going to respond to Brother Remy, your comment. Uh, you're going to want to log into your Soul Journey of Life.org account. Check your IG messages. Check your IG messages, and I gave you some a few instructions there to try to help you out to get logged in. What I'm going to do is have a short, brief introductory, talk. Then there will be an intermission of a sort. And after the intermission, the purpose of the intermission is to make sure that our guests are positioned properly and where they need to be. Um, and then we'll invite them on board with a live panel discussion. Okay. So we definitely have our hands full in our time. We know that today, there's been discussion about various topics, such as the mandate that anybody that has eyes to see with and ears to hear, could have seen coming. The mandate that I'm talking about is the mandate of, all federal businesses, big businesses and whatnot, being obligated to take the vaccination, the so-called vaccination. So you have that on the menu of things that have been going on during this week. As you know, all those who are conscious and aware, we know how to properly respond to this particular situation, and we know the type of choice that should be made or the type of decision that should be made with this regard. And if you don't know, if you feel that perhaps you're not too alert or aware of the happenings of our time, go to those who know if you don't know and make sure that they are authentic. So we have that. And I want to also give a salute, a grand honored salute to all those brothers and sisters today that were at the event that was going on. I saw it. I was invited to watch a live viewing on Brother Major TV channel. And there, amongst other people, I was able to, see and get to hear our brother Riza Islam speak, and he's always insightful, always full of intelligent comment and information. You understand? And all those who were there, all those who, in general, are about this cause, and all those who are adamant, standing in the forefront of, being active putting our minds on the line, putting our souls on the line, putting our hearts on the line, putting our bodies on the line. You understand? In this cause. To all those, I have nothing but an honored and respectful salute to you. You understand? All those who are staying focused, all those who are staying focused and remaining steadfast. To all those, you have my honored salute, brothers and sisters. So, on the rough side of the situation, on the rough side of things, we're an interesting people. The things that um, whet our appetite when it comes to the activities that we have amongst our own, it's very, 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 very interesting to say the least. We become an extremely judgmental people, more often than not making assumptions, have judgments without having all the facts. With today's social media, many of us base our so called research on each other from the likes of Facebook posts and YouTube antics. No real facts about anything. In truth, many of us haven't the slightest clue of what is going on at all in the world when we open our mouths. Out of it comes only willful ignorance. Willful because we often choose not to limit what we say to what we truly know, and to be honest, this is exactly how our enemies take full advantage of us. They know that we get emotional quickly, and when we do, we sacrifice intelligence in preference for what we consider our feelings to be at the moment. And so they play us against each other. You notice how they systematically kill us and oppress us whenever we dispute shamefully, but whenever we dispute, let me say that again. They're while they're actively systematically killing us and oppressing us. On the other hand, whenever we are disputing shamefully amongst ourselves, these same enemies are nowhere around. They have nothing to say. They don't hinder us in any way. You know they watch our lives and they listen to our talks because the minute we say something worth listening to, worth entertaining with our minds, they are quick to intervene and sabotage the live streams. But when we bicker like little children over the most minute of things, the streaming is so smooth and untampered with. They love to see us wallow in our own foolery. Why do you think our so-called silly milk crate challenge went viral? It was yet another example of black stupidity made popular by the social media at large. Look at these black folks, they might say. Look at these black folks, and they have the nerve to want autonomy? I thought they were kings and queens. On and on. We give them full resources to mock us and shame us. Front cover photo, a black man appearing to be pregnant. What's next? And we wonder why the wicked among them wish to see us killed off by the likes of COVID 19. They are hoping that we are just that dumb enough. After all, our heads don't stop us from climbing a stack of milk crates only to fall right on top of our heads we aren't using anyway. Don't get mad at me. Accept our faults and change. Stop giving these people fuel. And most importantly, we need to stop hopping on bandwagons so quickly to hate our own. We must have a revolutionary breakthrough amongst our own before we can even dream of such the like of unity on any other level. It doesn't take much at all for us to dump and hate on one another among us who any of us that step forward, in some way or fashion for the cause. This war that we find ourselves in our times is on so many fronts, and yet we confine ourselves to focusing on just a few parts. Perhaps because they appear more dramatic. They're more entertaining. These You know, the thought-based movements require too much mental energy. In other words, movements that are based on contemplation, they require too much of your time to contemplate. Why bother? We want to see, some action happen. Where's the drama? Where's something that we can, be entertained with? It's 9:30 at night. Let's find some entertainment. You understand? We've gotten to the point where, if it's not easily microwavable meals, we're not interested in consuming. We don't want to take the time to break out the fruits and vegetables, the herbal ingredients, and make a full course, wholesome meal to consume in our minds. These require the efforts and exertion of thinking. Such an action we have been programmed against as opposed to encouraged to embrace. This evening, I would like to invite one of our respected brothers who've been, adamant and in the forefront of striving for a cause that regards, a situation where we have a brother who had been apprehended and arrested. You understand? Unjustly, we would say. Unjustly, in that he has not yet, as of yet, been allowed to defend himself properly. You understand? And, the society at large, we're talking about those who control the major media platforms or whatnot, have been adamant in attacking this brother. The brother of whom I'm speaking is Brother Otho Wallace, aka Ozone. On his behalf, there's been a beloved brother who's been adamant about raising funds, and him and his team and those with him, those who are involved, um, have been adamant about raising funds for the defense team of Brother Otho Wallace. So today there have been, as always, anytime one of us steps up to do something, we've always got people who have something to say. Now, here is to be fair. Nobody of us is perfect. So we should allow ourselves the opportunity to speak our mind, to defend ourselves, and to lay out the facts so that whatever has been said or posed against us, wouldn't it make sense that we have a right to speak in our own defense? After all, that's what we're trying to do for our brother Otho Wallace, who's incarcerated. We're trying to hire a proper investigation team that can represent him properly so he can effectively defend himself. So here we are, knowing that this is not going to be an easy task. This is not some simple task. This is not, a movie that you see in an hour, 30-minute movie where the problem is solved within an hour and a half. This is not that kind of situation, family. This is a real life matter. Real lives are in the hand or are at stake. A father of children who love him is in the hands of custody because perhaps he stood up to defend his right to exist. So, in any given case, the last thing we want to do amongst ourselves is hinder our own efforts. You understand? The last thing we want to do is hinder our own efforts at progress on any level, whether it be boots on the ground at Stone Mountain, at Louisville, at Lafayette, whether it be helping the needy, you name it, wherever we are at, whether it be standing up for those who've been captured by the system's mechanics and not been treated justly. Regardless, we need to be there for our own. You understand? The public bickering, it's got to be a point where where we can say enough of this is enough because it's not helping. I don't care how high or how glorified you perceive yourself to be. None of this is helping us in any way. Whatever you're trying to achieve by dumping on one another, it's not in any way a benefit. It doesn't assist us. It doesn't give us any upgrades whatsoever. We're doing nothing but wasting valuable time. So, with all due respect to all parties involved, all involved, and I have a respect. I have a respect for everybody involved. I'm not your brother that becomes your enemy because you disagree with me or you disagree with one amongst us. You're still my brother. Much respect to Boss Talk. Much respect to Danger Remy. Much respect to OC the Great. Much respect to Grandmaster J. Much respect to Major TV. Much respect to all of you that are striving for the cause of black unification. That's the bottom line for me. When it comes to the disputes that we have, sometimes they're the type of disputes that need to be handled between A and B. You understand? Not social media platform, not YouTube, but A and B. You have a concern, A and B. Everybody else doesn't need to see the dirty laundry. You understand? So, yeah, definitely enough is enough. We don't have time for this. All the little comedy shows that happen in the commentary, we don't have time for any of this, family. We just don't. Serious things are happening. Don't you see? Don't you see while you're sitting, while you were sleeping? Mandates are being passed by the leader of the establishment in this land. Mandates are being passed. It's just a matter of time where the unvaccinated become the new black. How about that? Go figure, right? So, to tag on to the issues we already have as a black nation. So I'm just letting you know that you waste your time by having these platforms where all you're doing is spending hours and hours and hours chopping each other down, back and forth, back and forth. Why? What you're not achieving, whatever you're trying to achieve, is not happening. Because consider this: if you only have one person or a small collection of people who you know are the source of what could aid another brother, and if you, as a result of your chopping this person's integrity down, you now shut all those resources down, then who is helping our brother Otho Wallace? Please tell me. Then what kind of attorney is he going to get when no money is available at all because we've chopped the people down who made it a point that, hey, this is what we're doing? Let's see here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have a brief intermission. That way I can make sure I can help brother Remy out here to get online here. And we also have with us um, a returning guest, Sister Akoti, a very brilliant sister, very intellectual sister, a professional real estate personnel, a business personnel, and very insightful on so many levels. I was given the honor of meeting this sister on August 21st and witnessing some of the enlightenment that emanates from this black queen. So, she is also with us today as well. Now, without further ado, let me go ahead and take on this intermission, and I'll be back shortly. Peace and blessings. So there's that. There's
Okay.
that. Peace and blessings. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you out.
All right, cool. That means we're doing what we need to be doing.
Mic
Okay.
check 1 2. How do I sound now? Sorry.
Can you hear me, Remy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me though?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sister said I was kind of low. I guess we're ready to go, bro.
All right, give me 1 second here. So, first of all, let's introduce our guest that we have here. And before I do that, let me just remind us, to drink some good water. Some blessings. Can everybody hear me?
I
Okay.
can hear you.
I can hear you out.
All right. Let's see. I think there's a bit of a delay going on with the sound.
Mic
Okay.
check 1 2. How do I sound now? Sorry.
Okay.
Can you
So,
hear me, Remy? Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear
I
me?
think I think you guys are hearing my feedback here. I think there's some feedback going. I'm gonna try to see if I can fix that.
That's probably me. I've muted my YouTube. I think
Okay,
it might.
okay, okay. That's good to know. All right. First of all, beloved family, all those in the chat, I'd like to begin by welcoming our guest. You see at the top right, Sister Akoti. Again, many of you know her,
Hold on, fam.
and you know her through her different features and commentaries or whatnot on platforms such as Major TV. And she's been able to present very hard hitting, insightful, knowledge, information, insight, particularly about, real estate and the likes of that, and much, much more has she had to share with us in light of, the efforts towards black unity, liberation and things of that nature. Um, then also you see that we have on the next screen is our beloved brother Remy. And we know Remy because he has been on the forefront regarding raising funds on behalf of um, our brother Otha Wallace, aka Ozone, and who has been incarcerated and not given the proper justice that should be had in circumstances like this that he finds himself in. So here we are. Welcome aboard. Peace and blessings be with you.
Peace and
Um,
blessings, brother.
so to
Yeah,
begin with, brother Remy, can you tell us who Remy is? Where do you come from, etc.
yeah. I'm born and raised. Can everyone let me know if you can hear me correctly?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay. Yes. I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica. I've spent most of my life in the United States. My father was a person who was very much independent. Um, uh, what would you say? Black empowerment minded person, and so was my mother. My mother was an avid reader at one point, and she introduced me to a lot of books. And so, I tend to read. Um, I guess at this point I'm a true Jamaican in a sense, right? Because I've spent so much of my life in America. But my brother Ozone and I met through the NFAC
Okay.
in 2021, and we have been comrades since. I consider myself friend, confidant, and advocate of Otho Wallace. I myself, just a little bit about me, I'm an entrepreneur, very much interested in Black empowerment and being pro Black, buying land, developing various businesses. I'm agnostic in terms of religion. I have no God. And, that's pretty much I think that kind of tells a little bit about my personality. I'm very much a practical person, and
So
I like to get down to how we can work
I
together
didn't
as well.
hear. You might have expressed this in this, but what do you do for a living?
Oh, say again.
What do you do for a living? What's your occupation?
Oh yes, I'm involved in various types of businesses, a little bit of real estate and some short-term rental businesses.
Okay. So
Yeah,
let me ask you this question. I know I've seen this question kind of pop up by some I don't know what you want to call it, some critics, right?
yeah.
How is your living situation?
You said, how's my living
Yes,
situation? You
how's
kind
your
of
living
Borging.
situation?
You got a Borging thing going on there on your side. It's kind of doing that Borg thing. It's
Yeah, I think it's because
confusing.
I got this fan blowing this way. Um,
Oh, that sounds better.
okay, all right. How is your
Yeah.
living situation?
Yeah, my living situation is, a little bit different than most people. I'm voluntarily homeless. In other words, I gave up a house and the comfort of my apartment and a house because I'm paying down debt. I was living, in a check to check situation. And
Yeah,
so I made, after I had a recent breakup with the mother of my twins, I was married to her, so I went through a divorce, and I decided to take some time and live by the barest means possible so I could take all of the money that I used to pay for rent and utilities and just pay down everything that I owe, and build up my credit because my credit was also an issue. So I could not continue to live on that check to check thing. I was suffering in terms of even getting certain projects off the ground for my businesses, and it was very, very stressful. So I made a calculated decision to go ahead and forego a dwelling, not because I couldn't afford to live in one in the sense, but because I couldn't afford to live in one comfortably. I didn't want to continue to have that feeling that, I'm carrying the house on my back.
yeah,
So I decided to, go ahead. Now, to be honest, I would have stopped doing this in 2020, but when COVID hit, it took my short-term rental business took a hit, and I just really jumped off into short-term rentals, and I was just about to start making a profit, and everything with COVID kind of, it took a hit, so I had to kind of get out of that space for a while. So I had to continue, living like this because, like I say, I don't want to just get back into a building and then just continue struggling. So I personally feel that it's worth the sacrifice
hmm
living the way I'm living, which sometimes I camp. I'm very much an outdoors person,
sort of
and
like off the
sometimes,
grid.
yes,
Okay,
literally just using a tent and doing some bushcrafting. And then sometimes I am in my car. I sleep out of my vehicle.
okay, I
Um,
understand.
and yeah.
So I definitely understand that lifestyle. I've got some friends of my own and know some folks that have taken on that lifestyle in one fashion or another. So I definitely can relate to that experience. Um, so you began your involvement with this cause, if you will, this uh, you know if you would, the black movement, if you will, this new age, this time, our time, black movement, when it came to the NFAC and ozone and the likes of that. Is that correct? Or did you do something before? Were you involved before that?
Oh, well, I can tell you that prior to me, knowing ozone and stuff, I've been on Earth a little bit longer. He's my little brother basically. But, prior to that, my experience in consciousness, I came up in the 90s when we were, still with DVDs, and I go back even to the days of cassettes. Like I was listening to people on cassette tapes, in terms of teachers, John Henry Clark, Muta Baruka, all these different people, old speeches from Marcus Garvey. I was also Hebrew Israelite because my mother introduced me to the Hebrew Israelite religion slash culture. And so in the late 90s into the early 2000s, I took it seriously, and I
Hmm.
was, looking through that lens. But I also began to come away from that and began to explore other avenues and began to focus more on myself in terms of consciousness. I started to direct it more internally and exploring and figuring out what makes me tick. But yeah, I was an Israelite.
Yeah.
I had the honor of being in the presence of, like, Dr. Khalid Mohammed in
Yes. Yes.
Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So I've been around people. I came up during the era also when YouTube became the place for, the Polites and the Setis and, all these other people that showed up on Sarnetta TV. So you name it. I've seen, like over 20 years plus of, black consciousness from it being in the street when Dr. York was
Yes.
still
Yes.
somebody to look at as, with reverence, or at least wonder. And then, it going to all the way to YouTube. I've been around
So
from those.
basically, you could say that you've been pretty pretty aware of the quote unquote conscious community activities for some time now, right?
Yes, sir.
But let me ask you this: why is it so easy for us to pick each other apart? Why is it so easy for us to to just we see something in we disagree or whatever, and we just go all in picking each other apart? Why is that like the easiest way to go as opposed to the opposite, right?
I think that's because of there's a direct issue with self-awareness, and that everything is externalized. So we're not doing any work internally on ourselves. So a lot of people are not even aware of their own BS. And
Hmm.
so everything is being projected outside, and they always find enemies outside, and their egos are extremely fragile. So if my ego is very fragile, and I don't like the way you talk, or you said something in a text that I misconstrued,
Hmm.
then I will kick over the whole table just because I have a personal issue with you, and everything else be damned. And I'm going to come out now and go straight to the internet, because for me, it's all about what I'm projecting outside of me. There's not enough work going on internally. I think that's where all the issues that we're facing
Hmm.
begins. Whether I'm sitting down, whether I'm going to say, okay, I'm upset right now, I'm going to let this breathe, I'm going to let this simmer, right? I'm not going to go on Boss Talk's show at 10:30 last night. I'm actually going to go to sleep, and then I'm going to think about what I want to do later. We're not doing any of that. We're literally just jumping into these things. And because it is entertaining, as you said,
Hmm.
but and it's easy, right? We have something that's very small, and we can just pick this up and get a bunch of people to agree with us. So a lot of it is just, it's the human condition, regardless of
Well,
race. We see other people do it too.
speaking of brother boss talk, that live that you were talking about last night, I did
You're
find
breaking
myself
again.
compelled to you know join the discussion briefly. Let's take a look at that if I can. Let me see here.
Okay.
Okay, give
This
me
is
a
a
sec.
great platform, man. It's really, I'm really impressed by this. I didn't know what I was missing.
Hmm. Well, I'm trying to get the family a bit hip to it. It's a challenge. There's some quirks and whatnot, communications that have to be had. But let's check this out. Let's check this out here. Uh, Let me make sure it's over here, right? Okay, there we go.
Oh, you know what I mean? We just got to be patient until the brother actually runs off with the money. I agree. This is, giving a little bit of public pressure, but we are reiterating nobody's being accused of fraud. So I'll relinquish the floor.
That's what's up. What's
Late
up?
night with occulty
I just
speaks.
I can't pronounce that now. I'm just gonna
It's a
say Soul
Coty,
Journey of
right? A
Life.
Coty.
If you don't mind
That's
pronouncing that for me,
correct.
because I ain't even gonna try that. But but welcome.
West, man. Greetings. And listening in on the conversation a little bit. And now, to begin with, I'm not sure what if there was a dispute or something like that. I don't know anything about that. But I'm trying to look at this whole scenario in the sense of, you know, the elements at play, both within the ranks of the family and without. You understand? I can understand how, you know.
Stay with us, family, as our
Like
brother
the
get
brother
that
mentioned,
video
you
queued
know,
up from late
our
night
level
with
of
Boss
trust
Talk.
towards one another,
Apparently.
especially
Stay
when
with
it
us,
comes to
family.
money. You understand? We get kind of uneasy. You understand? We get kind of suspicious to one another because, like you said, we've been dragged around, you know, quite a bit over our time. At the same time, we have an adversary. Understand how, you know, that, you know,
Stay with us, family, as our
so crafty, so slick, so smooth, and one of the things they bank on is us being divided. You understand? Meanwhile, they've got their, you know, client or whatnot fully paid. You know, all of the representatives on their side is, you know, basically living the life right now. In the midst of, even though, you know, with all due respect, they lost one, right? They lost one. My point is, we have a brother, you know, who, in my opinion, has shown stripes, has shown his badge of honor. You understand? And to this day, I mean, like I said, you know, people have arguments, people disagree, they bump heads, but you got to look at the character of the people. Look at the type of people we've seen that have been fouled.
Coconut water real quick.
That have shown that they've been fouled in social media on many of these lives. We had one lady who had been trying to run game. You understand? Behind the scenes, but she exposed her own self through the course of conversation. But when we're talking about Brother Remy, from what I've seen, all I've seen is an honorable person. Yeah, someone we may not like some this, that, or whatever. But has the person been holding it down? That's the question, you know, do we have to have, like I said, I don't know, you know, how much the balance is right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not aware of what the current status is. But, you know, from the course of me conversating with the brother, the course of what I have seen through his being adamant about, you know, raising the funds, you understand? I mean, a lot of Sister. things that's going to happen here. But, you know, we're dealing with a situation where the people that they're trying to get, we have that one top of the line because the brothers mentioned now the balance is murder charge. You know, I'm not aware of. So this isn't something you want to just be willy-nilly with. This is something, if you have a chance to get to the top, if you have the chance to get the best, why not? What I have been adamant about, you know, raising the funds. Somebody's got to mute their YouTube channel. Thing that's going to happen. Because it's picking up as an echo.
My bad. That's the only way I can hear, though. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing the video in the back room.
Oh, that's why I think Cody's not either. Well, give me a second. I'll break everything down that was said. Just give me a second here, because
Okay.
they can hear it on the live, but I guess you
Okay.
guys can't hear it because you guys have to mute the YouTube feed. So
Yeah.
hang tight. You understand? You know, if it takes a little time,
I wonder if
I'd rather a little bit of time
low.
than someone getting the death penalty. And until this brother has shown like that he's incompetent to, you know, hold the bag, if you would. Until he's shown that he's incompetent, what other reason do we have to press him, you know, other than a disagreement or bumping heads? Like I said, people disagree, but that's not something that degrades the person's integrity to be trustworthy or be a trustee, if you would, on behalf of Brother Ozone when he hasn't shown anything that violates that.
He kind of has. I'm gonna explain. He's just, you know, First of all, it's just weird. He's being disrespectful to the people, that have this family, his mother, Ozone's mother, stuff like that. Um, and just plain and simple, he's said straight up, he's found an attorney that he's like for. So I don't understand what's taking so long as far as paying. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people's question. Like what's so taking so long? That's all it is. What's taking so long? And
Okay, let's pause that right there. And for the record, beloved family, all those listening in, um, this, like I said, I respect, Boss Talk. He's got a platform. That's his platform that you're reviewing, and I respect brother Remy. I understand that there's opposing views going on here, but as I always say, I'm for our people. You understand that? I understand we have differences. We collide sometimes, but this isn't being viewed for the purpose of belittling Brother Remy or belittling Boss Talk. You understand? This is just presenting, what's been said. Now, I don't know if you were able to hear, Brother Remy. I don't know if you were able to hear what Boss Talk was, the concern that he expressed. Um, he said that he believes that there's some kind of, you know, there's some concern here going on. Can you explain what he's concerned about?
If I can explain what he's concerned about.
Yeah, let me give me a second here so I can get I want to get his wording exactly here as I quote him. Give me a second here.
respectful to he kind of has. I'm gonna explain. He's just
Okay, so first off, I'm as I do with brothers and sisters, I try to be the optimistic voice. You understand? In defense of the integrity and character of each of us, until proven otherwise. And it can't be proven otherwise, in my opinion, until all sides have had their ability to speak their piece. Right? Can
Okay,
you hear me?
yeah, yes,
So he's saying that he's believing that through the course of a conversation between you and him, that he feels that you've broken some um, level of, if you would, integrity or authenticity concerning um, holding the account down. He's saying that, and I'm quoting him, that he believes that you should release the bag, so to speak. You understand?
he believes I should what?
Release the bag.
Release.
In other words, pay. Just go ahead
Oh,
and
release the bag. The bag.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll address that. You cannot release the bag until you have an actual written agreement with attorneys, and we do not have that. You cannot release the bag until you have enough money to give them that they agree upon. In other words, people understand because they heard us say the lawyer would start for 30,000 a month ago before the officer died.
yes,
Okay, at that time, this is where a lot of the confusion is coming in.
yeah.
These people have taken it upon themselves to say that what because I'm changing the numbers, that's a red flag. And that what I'm saying is that is the nature of dealing with attorneys when you don't have the bag. When you have $30,000, you're not in a position to make demands. You're
It's
not.
it seems to me, real quick, And before I even mention this, a commentator in our commentary has made a very a strong point. Peace and blessings, Sister Lorraine Mohammed. She's saying basically, how many times do we have to see these same arguments? I can feel her exhaustion in this. That competitive spirit just won't rest. She says, and then she says, "Inshallah, it will end soon." And we definitely have to harness this somehow because it does nothing but slow us down and waste valuable time, right? So he goes further to say in his reply to me that he feels that certain family members or certain individuals had been disrespected. Um, Now I believe he's talking about the mother. I'm not for certain, but I'm interpreting that they're referring to the mother. Now I watched the live where that mother was talking, and I didn't see any.
You're boring again, bro. What's I don't know what you did earlier, but you were sounding
Let's see
good
here.
now.
Let me try this fan again
Yeah,
because it gets hot sometimes. Hold on.
yeah, that's better. That's better. That's better.
Let's just do that.
Whatever
All
you're
right.
doing, that's better right there. I can hear you.
All right. How's that? What I'm saying
Yes.
is he felt that there was some form of disrespect directed to certain family. I'm not
To
sure.
whom?
I'm not for certain if he was specifically talking about the mother of Ozone. Now, I can say, as I mentioned before, that I did watch the live concerning the discourse that involved Ozone's mother. I personally didn't see anything disrespectful. I did see all efforts to break down to her the the nature of the situation and the care that needs to be considered when trying to take on the pursuit of getting an attorney, a proper attorney. That's what I saw. Now, if there was something else that happened, I'm not aware of it. But can you break down this feeling that this opinion that this brother is presenting?
Well, his opinion is his own. He said several things that were false. That he also said that he heard that I cursed out Crystal Muhammad. That is false.
Hmm.
He said a bunch of things, right? So this is patently false. I After that live that you saw where Miss Jennifer came in and I let her speak, I did not cut her off. I did eventually say, okay, we have to move on. That's not disrespect. That's saying, okay, sister, thank you. We'll talk later, but I think I've answered your questions. I have to move on to what I came on to talk about because I
Hmm.
wasn't expecting her to come on. I did not hang up on her. I told her that I was going to go now. After she said her piece and after I provided the answers to her and after I instructed her to please go and speak with her son concerning what he wants to be done.
Right.
Now, after that, I've had no other communications with this woman. None.
Let me ask you this then, and before I get to the meat of this question, let me break it down like this. Okay. Say now we've seen on these social media platforms, especially YouTube and Instagram, how quickly and easy it is for black folks to jump on and attack other blacks who are in the forefront of making a difference and or promoting the cause to aid those suffering in the black community for the various reasons. But we've seen slander, we have heard claims attacking others, and now I will say this at present. I do think we're dealing with more situations built on misunderstanding and misinformation more than people trying to slander one another. This is not to say that they have not, that they've ceased to spread, that those who spread slander cease to spread slander. Slander. We know that there's certain platforms that people have made it adamant that they're just out there to attack black folks and they're black folks, but they're not out there to attack their own. It don't matter who it is, what it is. They just, from GMJ, you name it, that's what they do. They just find black people to, break down and belittle. Okay, that's what their business is. Um, so this is not to say that So this what I'm saying here is after listening to what some YouTube commentators say, some who have shown themselves to be pro-black unity and credible supporters of the same cause, you understand? And I'm speaking like this, even regarding, Boss Talk has shown his stripes. He's shown his badge when it comes to, you know, making it clear what he stands for. You understand? He has his way of words. Just like Sister Michi X, she has her way with words. How they give their oratory, if you would. You understand? They have their way. It might not be, what I myself would demonstrate, but I know that everybody's not Abdul Wadud, right? So, what I'm saying is, I don't have any doubt that these people are in and of themselves about the cause per se, from based upon what I've observed. I just think that when we get to these points of disagreement, people remain locked in on their perspective. They remain locked in on their views, and if there's any type of enmity that's involved in that, that only enhances their opinion. Whether it be for or against anybody. So, bottom line is, you know, bumping heads are happening. Can you give us a clear cut response to what is being said? Namely, the manner in which you are handling being the quote unquote trustee of fundraising for Brother Ozone's legal defense fundraising efforts.
Say, can I speak to how I'm raising
Yeah, just
the
a
fund?
clear cut. What are you doing when it comes to the fundraising efforts, the managing the money? You understand? What are you doing? For example, what's the current balance now? If can the people, can we have an update on the balance as it is right now? All money that's been raised in total. Is that something
Yeah,
that can be spoken about?
yes. So my responsibility is obviously to help getting people to donate and to promote and to speak about the brother's case, right?
Hmm.
I do that by making videos and go trying to alert other people that have money and large followings to actually speak. I also go out in the physical world and put flyers and speak to people
Yes. Yes.
and ask them for donations. I then the money is collected through WeSignWithOzone.com mostly. That money is then transferred into my one of my personal bank accounts. As I stated before, I started off using One United, the Black Bank.
Yes.
We were having some problems with that, and so I had to begin transferring the money out of that. I literally had to drive to Miami to go into the branch to get the last 9,000 something dollars because they wouldn't let me transfer any more money online. But I hold the money. I usually tally up like once or twice a week. Once we get to a milestone, I usually make a video or a live, which you can find several of those on the Justice for Ozone page
Yeah.
on IG, and you can find some of it on the Danger Remy IG, and you can find some of it on the Danger Remy YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But those are the three places. Mostly, I've done it on the Justice for Ozone. They've blocked me from using that page, Justice for Ozone, but the videos, the materials are still up there. So
Okay.
I've always been updating people. I've never hidden anything. I've always told people what it was, at least approximately. When I didn't know, I said it was approximately this. It might have been off a few $100, sometimes even by 1,000 or 2,000. But I would just say, look, I haven't moved the money from the PayPal yet. I haven't tallied up what's in the Cash App yet, and I would just say. So, for example, Boss Talk said when I was on one of his lives, I said, well, we have like 51 something. And he said, well, no, I think it's like 53. And I said, okay, well, let's do the math. And we did it right there
Yes.
while I
Yes.
was looking at my computer. And I said, yeah, you're right. It's 53 something. I didn't hide anything. And then I went and took out my phone and did my best to show the account,
So
show that
would you say that you've been as transparent, given the circumstances, that you've been as transparent as you could possibly be, given the
yes, sir.
circumstances?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I literally showed my bank account on YouTube Live. I don't know
Yes.
how more transparent one can
I
be.
definitely understand, and that's much respect. I want to invite Sister Okoti. to the table of discussion here. Um, but before I do, I have simply okay to try to play devil's advocate, if you would, right?
Mhm.
You have where you know that your living circumstances and you know what that means to you. You know how you are experiencing it, how you're operating it. But some of us we're not hip to the off-grid lifestyle or the lifestyle where we're just kind of living simply. You understand? Some of us are used to living in the block. You understand? Or living out in the burbs. So when someone's saying, "Well, I don't have a whole, I don't, I'm not living in a house, or I'm not living this way or that way," it's a strange thing to them because it's foreign territory to them. They don't, if push came to shove, they had to be pressed to survive. Many of them would not know what to do. If the internet was to shut off globally, and they're saying it might because of the sun, um, if it was to shut off globally, many people would not know how to operate without the services of the internet. You understand?
Right.
I'm saying this to give a perspective of a people who don't understand that. But you've also mentioned that you had debts and whatnot that you were concerned with, that you were trying to pay. But you also mentioned that you are a worker. You have an income of your own. You
Yes.
understand? Which obviously, if you're living in the way you're doing, it makes it easier to take the time and effort to pay your bills. Okay, but why am I saying this? Because I'm saying this in light of critical people. People who are very suspicious at any move that a person makes. You understand? And they try to look for any loophole, any thing that they can use to to make or give the impression of wrongdoing. You understand?
Right.
And it seems like that these are the things. I've seen through some of the commentary, them saying, "Oh, he's homeless" or this or that. How do we clear this up? How do we um uh bring it to the attention of these people that, hey, you understand, you are legit and there is absolutely no wrongdoing going on your part.
Well, you can't, because when when it goes deeper than what they purport to be upset about, it's deeper than that, right? So if I'm saying, if I'm attacking you because of, I'm alleging that you might be guilty of some improprieties with funds, but I also dislike you because I don't like your mannerisms and you don't respond to text messages or phone calls from
Hmm.
me, or I did not come on your YouTube channel when you requested me to do so. If those things are also underlined, and if I've been critical, and I've been critical of some people in the way that they speak about ozone, because they're affecting how he's treated in the prison system. So I have gone ahead and say, listen, you guys need to stop what you're doing with a certain amount of rhetoric, because it does affect how he's treated and so on. And it is not good to use certain types of languages when we're actually doing a fundraising event.
Yes,
So
indeed.
therefore, these people say that I must be working for the state, and that I'm disrespectful because I say, listen, what we are doing is not productive and it's harmful to the brother who is sitting in 6 by 10. So I'm saying to you, as a fact, in my view, it is a fact that this is deeper than what they're talking about. This is coming after they have their little falling out. So once they get to an impasse of something with me that they don't like, I'm not budging on how we're going to talk about things, and I'm publicly critical, saying, listen, we can't continue to speak like this, and we shouldn't,
Yes,
and it
yes.
doesn't make sense. They're upset about that, and they're now, all of a sudden, now it's, oh well, yeah, you're homeless. And there's a guy that started the whole homeless thing, because this guy, his name is Kirk Judah Israel, he was asking us to give him money to donate to Spite.
Yeah.
And I told him to F off, basically. I told him to stop typing. I didn't say F off but I said stop. Now
Hmm.
he took the word stop as disrespect. He was typing a bunch of long paragraphs. Guy had all these accolades saying he was a part of these organizations. He had a mailbox, all these things, and he was saying that we should send him money to give to Spite. That was not going to happen. I'm not giving anybody money to give to Spite. I'm raising funds for the person facing the death penalty. I've never said I was raising money for Spite.
Yes.
So the guy, after that, he begins to attack me. And that is an example of what is going on with the other people. As soon as they have, like, we have a little bit of a, oh, I don't like how he did that. Oh, he didn't come on when I asked him to come on. Oh, he didn't answer my text. Oh, he didn't respond. So now it's like, okay, well, are you working for the state? Crystal Muhammad sent me a text saying, keep the Black Panther Party's name out of your mouth. You sound like you're working for the state.
Right.
So this is immediately where we go. Now, the difference between myself and them is I can take an insult, I can take a disagreement without going online. What I do is I typically just ignore people. If we come to an impasse and I feel like, okay, we can't work it out and we're just, let's just agree to disagree and move on with our lives. I don't feel the need to go out and start questioning your integrity unless I truly believe that. And I'm saying to you, these people don't truly believe that, but it's a more about their ego and
Yes. Yes.
my not necessarily doing what they think I should do when they say I should do it. And the fact that, yes, I am holding what some people would consider to be a large sum of money, they're now saying, okay, well, look at him. All of a sudden now, I'm this thing, right? But before that, it was no problem with these people. When it was $35,000, these people had no
That's
issues. They
right.
were singing praise, and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't know. Oh, maybe he did take the money because it's a personal issue, and I can't do anything about it,
Well,
and I'm not attempting.
on that note, real quick, in my personal opinion, and I can say, quote unquote, they say that money is the root of all evil, right? And yeah, I do definitely see that we're dealing with a battle of egos, right? Slandering, belittling, and the like being slung everywhere. And in my opinion again, the challenge that we have here is staying focused on what we know to be true, and how can we achieve this is the question that will come there in this. And this is, to some of the, there's a lot of powerful commentation going on here, a lot of insightful commentation, and I love it. I love it, and much respect to all those who are presenting honest and thoughtful, replies to this communication going on here. But one of the things that I have a great respect for out of you, Remy, from what I've been listening from my part, and then we'll, like I said, we'll see what we'll continue with Sister Okoti. But I'm hearing a lot of consistency, and I'm saying that because I've watched many of your lives. I've heard, you basically express the same content from live to live to live today, just, moments ago, and even now. So, and much of my questioning is just, to drive it in, so that people, like, can reason a little bit. Because one of the things that we tend to not be quick to do is reason. When a person, one of the things that'll help people know that you're authentic, that a person's authentic, is consistency. You understand? When we're consistently giving you the same oration, you consistently see the same activities going on, the same behavior, the same character, you kind of know, like, okay, this person's telling the truth. There's nothing new showing up. You understand? No new what do I want to say, gimmick or scheme. Like, whoa, wait a minute, he just did this. What's going on now? But consistent, consistent, consistent. And to me, that's respect worthy. I'd like to ask Sister Okoti if perhaps you have any questions that you would like to ask Brother Remy at this time.
Yes, indeed. Shalom, Brother Remy. How are you this evening once again?
Shalom, sister. I'm well. How are you?
It's a pleasure to actually see you face to face. I know we shared a couple of text messages, and my only concern here is Brother Ozone. And so, from what I can gather, and unless I missed something, we have not spoken on Ozone's condition and how's his spirit, how's he doing. So, can you give us an update on that, my brother?
Yeah, last time I spoke with him, which was day before yesterday, he was relatively upbeat. Under the circumstances, he's doing okay. There's nothing. I don't have any immediate concerns for his safety. He told me he was able to speak to a mental health professional, and he told me that he was actually able to do some exercise, which was great, and the mental health professional recommended that he exercise. So he's doing a little bit of a workout now, and yeah, he's putting on some weight. So yeah, that's good. Outside of that, he's just taking it one day at a time. He's encouraged by certain things that I tell him. I try not to bombard him with a bunch of negativity. The last time, day before yesterday, I did speak to him. I did tell him about what his mother was doing online, because even though I did not want to go there, I felt that he should know, and he was aware of it prior to me telling him. But I gave him some more details, and I told him how I was handling it. And he always tells me that he loves me and he appreciates me, and that's why I am doing this. I'm not going to throw my brother away, and I don't care what others say or do. Essentially, I'm only concerned, and I only attack or defend myself when people are literally doing things to take away from us, literally getting the things that are going to save his life. But outside of that, yeah, he's doing okay. He's reading, he's getting books, so we still encourage people to continue to send him books. I had 3 books that I sent to him that didn't get to him because it went to the wrong address. I'll have to resend those. But send him things. Y'all can't send anything like Art of War or anything with military strategies and a whole bunch of like military strategies and stuff like that. But send him things that he can read, some entertainment. Send him some magazines, that he can look at and read stuff too. But yeah, he's doing okay, and he's feeling good that I reported to him that we actually were about to get the attorney. And unfortunately, and I haven't gone back and told him that we're going through a bunch of ups and downs with them, because I don't like to constantly come to him every day with something else. So I haven't, even some of the things that I was talking about earlier on my live stream, I haven't said to him. I haven't told him that, listen, they're changing the prices on us constantly. We're shuffling around different attorneys, seeing who's going to work together. I haven't told him all that. I just told him, like, listen, we have the Sisters of the Underground. They're coming in a big way. They are your biggest blessing. And, reach out to them, give them a call and say thank you. And he's very encouraged by that, but he doesn't know the inner workings and all the fine details about how the attorneys are going, and I try to keep some of that away from him as to not to burden him with it. So he's doing good, and he's encouraged by the donation, and the Sisters of the Underground was great news for him.
I give all praises to the Most High for the Sisters of the Underground for stepping up in this hour to go ahead and commit themselves to paying the balance per se. So I'm just here representing the people. They had a lot of questions. I've watched you on Michi X program. I've watched you on OC the Great. I've watched you on Boss Talk. And so there was a lot of questioning that was going on in the chat, in the comments, and things of that nature. So I just want to give you an opportunity to clear up some things. And so my first question from me would be, and I ask this question because I've always given honor and respect to my elders, right? And so I just want to ask you, because of all the critiques on how you dealt with Ozone's mother, I just want to ask you, have you ever met his mother, or had a personal conversation with her outside of social media?
I have not.
Okay, so how how do you respond to those people who are saying that you were disrespectful to her online, even though Questman said he didn't hear it? I've gotten multiple. I've heard multiple comments about how you were disrespectful. I have not personally received or heard the podcast when you were on, when you spoke, supposedly spoke ill of his mother. But for the people, can you just go ahead and clarify what elders mean and what it means to honor thy mother and thy father? And if you can, just give us some intake as to how you perceive Ozone felt about his mother and her role in him obtaining liberation.
How do I perceive her role in him obtaining liberation?
No,
Um,
my question is, how do you feel about her role and the relationship with Ozone? Has he spoke to you about his mother in I guess it's about 2 years or a year and a half that you've known him?
yeah.
Um, have he spoke about his mother and their relationship, and how do you feel that's going to play out in regards to his liberation right now? Because I'm a firm believer that we should honor our elders, right? And so to Ozone, and that is his elder, that's his mother. And for us as a younger generation, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you, but I still consider her my elder. We may be the same age, I don't know, but because she is representing herself as the mother of Ozone, I have to give her all respect. So that's what I'm saying. How do you view Ozone's relationship with his mother? And do you think that the relationship that they have will play a significant part in his liberation?
Uh, well, without saying too much, I know that I have spoken to him about his mother. I've been present while he was speaking to his mother on the telephone. Um, I'll just say that Ozone came up in foster care. I believe he has 10 other siblings, or he's one of 10. Uh, the fact that he came up in foster care, take from that what you will. Um, I think the best thing for Miss Jennifer to do is to stay offline. I think that people are manipulating Miss Jennifer and they're using her to literally help to sabotage what we're trying to do for her son. I've requested that she speaks to her son. I don't think she's done that. She's chosen to go to Instagram instead and make videos live crying. I've never disrespected Miss Jennifer as anybody else that was in that live. Unfortunately, that live was not saved because one of my comrades called me immediately after I came off the live, and my phone died while we were having the conversation, so I didn't get a chance. And Instagram basically just it went into the ether. But if it was still there, everybody could go and play it and see that I never disrespected this woman. I can't speak to what her role is in any liberation because I just see somebody going to Instagram and saying, speaking on things that she doesn't know about. And I also see somebody who is not speaking directly with her son, and she's actually listening to people who does not have her son's best interest at heart. She's taking their word and then she's coming to me because they're literally winding her up and sending her in to use her to tarnish my reputation, to say, hey, look, see, he made Miss Jennifer cry. I don't have anything to do with that. I didn't know what the lady was doing. I never spoke to the lady except that one time. And I will defend myself. I don't care who you are. If you tarnish or if you try to diminish or take away from what we're doing to save your son's life, I am going to speak about it. And that's the only thing that I've done. I've said, well, Ozone came up in foster care, and what do you know? Because her thing was, well, what are you doing with the $30,000? You need to pay the lawyer, and she knows nothing about it, absolutely nothing. And so to come on the live randomly and then begin to make accusations was out of line. It was disrespectful to me, if you want to talk about disrespect. But I didn't take it as much of an offense. I let her speak her piece, even though my comrades were saying to me that just get off, just cut it. They felt like it was not a good look. But I said, no, let her say what she needed to say. I asked her questions and I followed up on what she asked. I did my best to answer. I answered truthfully. I never lied to her. As far as why she was making live streams crying and these things, well, that is of no help. It's a spectacle and it ought not to be done. That's what's going on with that. And it's completely not helpful because obviously, if someone sees the person that you're advocating for, if they see their mother crying and it looks like they're against you, well, now obviously that's a part of the reason why somebody would come back and say, well, I want my money back, as one person did this morning, right? So it's only adding more confusion and drama because his own mother is now saying, well, Remy, where's the $30,000, Remy? This is what is going on Instagram. Why is this taking place on Instagram? I don't know, but it's completely unhelpful and it's actually a hindrance to what we're trying to do.
Okay, so I do respect that and thank you for clarifying your relationship with Ozone's mother. Do you think, brother, for a follow up question, do you think that um, his mom could be sincerely concerned? I know you just said that he grew up in a foster home. We did not know that. Um, you referred to her as this woman, so that leads me to say, okay, so you say this woman as if she's not a significant factor in Ozone's life, and so do you have a clear understanding of how Ozone feels about his mother and how she's been played out in in the midst of his tribulation?
Ozone loves his mom. Obviously, that's his mom. Ozone does not want his mom to be speaking online. That's how he feels about it. He does not want her to be doing what she's doing on Instagram. And she needs to talk to, like I said, she needs to talk to her son. Before you come talk to me, go and speak with your son, please. That is the message. That's my one request to the lady. And that's what Ozone feels. That's his opinion. Also, he would prefer that she does not go on Instagram and make a spectacle of herself. That's
Can,
what it
can,
is.
can I ask a
Um,
question on that
yes, sir.
note? Just real quick. Is it possible for both you and Ozone's mother to go and visit Ozone?
To go and visit Ozone?
The two of you together, mother and yourself.
No, I don't see how that would work. But
Okay.
they're not currently allowing physical visitation. You have to get
Hmm.
on a list. I'm like 2 hours away from there. I don't know where she lives. I think she's homeless. I don't know. It's to
How
be
about a
honest, you're not.
mutual phone conversation?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I don't know if I don't. I guess we could do a three-way. When the thing is, he calls, she could literally be on like a list. I'm pretty sure he's probably has her on the visiting list.
Hmm.
But I'm guessing like when I don't call him, he calls me, right? So when he calls, I could then perhaps put on do a three-way.
Yeah.
But I don't have a phone number for Miss Jennifer and I don't know how to contact her outside of Instagram.
Well,
So I personally feel like she should just go like talk. If he has her number, I think somebody said that he might have gotten her number. Somebody also said that he called and she did not answer. I
hmm,
can't speak if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. But I think it's just essential that she speak with her son before we do any three ways and all that.
yeah.
Just go speak with your
I,
son
I
one on one.
definitely agree, and,
Okay.
and I say
Yeah,
that this.
and I agree too, brother. But I just want to go ahead while we're speaking on
Go
that
ahead.
topic. this is my question for Remy, and this is in all honesty and sincerity, because I did see the Instagram post, and the point in question that a lot of people have is that, do we have an attorney, and if we do, are we any closer to um, having an agreement signed with them where we turning over the money that was raised? Because a lot of people witnessed you, Remy, go on Michi X's platform and say that the money was going to be paid either Tuesday or Wednesday, that we had a dream team lawyer conglomerate, however you want to say it. We had a dream team of lawyers that was going to represent our brother. So the poignant question for everyone that's listening, I know, is that for you to just to clarify for us in who is the lawyer, and have they been paid, and if they have not been paid, what is the timeline for us negotiating and making this final? Because after all, our brother is set to go to trial, whether it be pre-trial or trial. He's going to stand before a judge, and he needs to be represented by someone other than a defense, public defense attorney. So, how close are we to securing proper representation before the end of October?
I think that we are very well. This is difficult to answer because I think that no matter how I answer this question, it will be unsatisfactory. But let me preface this by saying that I acknowledge that I did say, especially on Michi X, I did say that yes, we have a dream team and so on, and we did. We had a man that has 33 years experience. He's apparently tried 80 cases that involved the death penalty. And then we had a younger brother, and then a brother that was like in his 30s or early 40s. They had less experience, but they were going to be working with the OG that had the 33 years experience. So yes, initially, as with this is how most of these things have been going. Initially, it was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna sit down. We got a ballpark figure, right? And then we were like at 160 was gonna be the number. Okay, 2 days go by. Somebody, one of the attorneys, come back and they say they want a lot more than that just for themselves. Now, when I heard the ballpark of 160, we were very happy, but I thought it was crazy. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was wow. We really lucked up. I thought they were doing it just on the strength. These people also, they can relate to black people. They're not just, your average lawyers that are just kind of not in tune with what's going on in the community. So we wanted them also because they were very much relatable. At least the two lawyers that are with the less experience. Now, one of the lawyers decided that after seeing some things online, right? So the lawyer went looking and saw some things that he had not seen previously. And based on what he saw, he had several concerns. Now, those concerns I'm not going to disclose because it's none of people's business and it gets into the weeds. It's get into some things that shouldn't be spoken about publicly. But I will tell you that the person wanted a lot more. So now we have to consider paying his fee and then the other two lawyers. And so we're in the process of working that out, possibly not working with one of the lawyers and trying to find a different lawyer to replace him that could possibly play nice with two other lawyers. And because all of these machinations are going on, it all comes back. Why are these machinations going on? Because we don't have the money. We don't, the Sisters of the Underground do not have an unlimited budget, and I am only holding $54,000, and
Um,
that's not enough.
Let me backtrack just for a second here, because a sister in the commentary brought up an interesting point, and that's going back to mom. Is that let's see here. it would seem that the mother is not in the loop of this, of what's going on, like kind of like things are happening, you're involved, ozone's involved, but mom is not, you know, properly informed or in the loop of things. And is I mean, is that what makes sense? I mean, is that something that uh are we considering this properly when we is that what is why does it seem that way?
Why is she not in the loop?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I personally, like I said, I do not have, and I have not, to be honest, tried to make communication. There are some things that I'm trying to avoid not saying here, okay?
Yes, I definitely
And I'm
understand that.
trying not to say these things because if I do, people are going to say that I'm disrespectful,
Right,
okay? And
right,
I don't have to be derogatory, I don't have to call it, but if I say, and it's also personal business.
right, right,
But I think people who can discern, who watch things, who see her go on and post these things online, I don't think they really need any explanation as to why we would, you know, move a certain way. Okay,
right.
and I also don't want to say certain things that would cause a rift between mother and son. And
Yes.
so if I answer certain questions, I feel like it would start to go into that realm. And so I know some things that I'm not going to speak about, but I think again, if you have discernment, you'll read between the lines. If I told you, oh, came up in foster care, I mean, if I'm gonna go too much into it. I'm just gonna say that we haven't really made any deal of effort to
and and, and
involve her.
and pardon me, but even on that note, like just the knowledge that brother Ozone was in foster care and whatnot. Even this, see, one of the things that annoys me about today's social media. See, I come up before all this too. You understand? Before there was YouTube, before, and I remember that life. I remember how we went about dialoguing and meet and greet in person, phone, whatever, pager. You know, some things, it's like people get uh drives off of nosiness. You understand? And just some things aren't just for everybody's business. Even to be honest with you, even I mean, to an aspect, there's a public aspect because you're raising funds from you know different people in the community. So I would say they have a right to know some things like where's our money going, how's it being spent. But there are certain things that this is an individual black man with his own life and his right to his own privacy. Before this, he lived a private life. Nobody knew nothing about moms, children, nothing except for whatever he was willing to share to the public. I'm saying that because I definitely agree that, and I've seen many people in the commentary, speak to this effect. There's just some things that just aren't everybody's business, and people have to learn to respect that. You understand? It's a complicated situation all by itself. There's only so much you can say. You understand? Even in your position and with what you've obligated yourself to be doing, there's only so much that can be said, and there's only so much that you don't need to say. You understand? And I understand that a lot of this is being said to build on your own credibility. You understand? To calm down the minds that might be skeptical that perhaps they may be supporters. You understand or whatnot. But
Right.
we as a people, we have to understand that we are also individuals. We have our own life. You understand? It was a pleasure to be able to see Ozone's mother communicate. Um, and but if we didn't get to see that, all the same, it's their life, it's their business, their concern. Our concern is that we've seen something publicly happen that didn't go the proper way. The brother wasn't dealt with justly, and us as a people, our concern should only be how can we help Ozone. We know that we have one avenue, one primary avenue to get that job done. That's you, brother Remy. who's been raising the funds. So our focus should be on just simply making sure A leads to B leads to C. You understand what I'm saying? And that's it.
Yeah.
All these other personal details, it's not all that necessary. And even knowing, seeing the attorney, I think people will be satisfied once they get to see, the ball game going on. All the players are on the field and they see it. Okay, he's got an attorney. Boom. I think that'll calm some things down a little bit, but we just have to respect boundaries. We have to respect, people's personal life. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem that the community is having is we're just being too nosy. We're putting ourselves in a business that isn't entirely we're not entirely privy to. Kind of pushing ourselves in the house, sitting, kicking our feet up on the sofa, getting into the fridge, and we haven't even been invited in yet. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's just I wanted to interject that. Sister Okoti, um, if there's anything from you,
Yeah, let me go ahead and just respond to what you just said. I guess I have a more female approach to it all, and I am very much considerate, like I said once before, about the elders' feelings. I understand that Ozone may have not been brought up by his mother for per se. He was in a foster home, but there is that certain nurturing nature, right? That a mother and a son feels. I'm not going to linger too much on that topic because I do have some other questions for Brother Remy. But at the same time, let me just say this: I do believe that it is every mother's right to know what is going on with their child and how their child is going to be, um, I guess we could say, represented in the most important or detrimental event of his life. He is facing the death penalty, and I can only sympathize or empathize. I can only empathize with the mother in saying that I think she has a right to know what is really going on. From the last Instagram message that I seen or live that I seen from her, she just wanted to know what's going on with the attorneys. And so and so does a lot of people who have donated to we stand with ozone.com,
yeah,
such as myself. I am not one to bang the drum and start accusing people, but at the same time, I do believe that those who have contributed and those who are concerned, including Ozone's mother, just have a basic right to know and be updated on these things. Um, of course, my approach to asking these questions may be different from someone else. My concern for particular information to be conveyed may be not of concern of someone else,
yeah,
but I'm trying to take everyone's feelings in account and not just my own.
yeah,
And so my question to Remy is this, just straight up point blank. The attorney that we are looking at, the one that we say we have secured, yet he needs to find another partner to go along with him. So I guess we really don't have that dream team locked down. But that lead attorney, the lead attorney, can you tell us what is his fee in order to just represent our brother come October, the end of October? I think it's October 29th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's towards the end of October.
October
What is
20th.
what's his dollar figure, and then we can help to start some fundraisers to help raise funds for the other people that will come along over the course of time.
mm,
You said what's the lead attorney's fee?
Yes.
I'm not at liberty to say that right now, and the reason why I'm not going to say it right now is because I've already came back with too many numbers, and that's part of the reason why people dislike me. And this, those who are having a concern that they can't necessarily take my words for it. Every time I come with a number and then I have to come back with a different number, people are saying that that in itself is a red flag. So I'm going to leave it for now for the next several days between myself, the mother of Ozone children who have the power of attorney, sisters of the underground that are putting up the bulk of the money, and the sister Blaze that help us to raise the bulk of the money on eastlandozone.com. But mostly myself, Ozone's children's mother, and sisters of the underground. We're still in talks with the attorneys. These numbers are moving back and forth. They're trying to work it out among the lawyers. They're literally talking. So I'm not going to go ahead and speak about what number was thrown out there because that's subject to change.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of understand that, yet I don't, because if we say that we secured an attorney and the daughters of the underground agreed to come aboard if we had an attorney. That's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. So my understanding from you, from what you've been saying, is that we have secured an attorney. That would be the lead attorney. The matters of subsequent attorneys joining his team is something that's still in negotiations, and that is
No, that's not
acceptable.
necessarily true. That's not necessarily accurate. What you would call the lead attorney isn't necessarily the attorney that we are in first contact with.
I can't
We're
hear you. Can you speak up a little bit?
I said it's not necessarily the sequence of events. What you would call the lead attorney is not necessarily who we were in contact with first. We were in talks with two attorneys, and they went out looking for co-counsel. Okay, so now maybe that co-counsel is going to be the lead attorney. That's to be decided, but
Okay,
most
so
likely,
let me go ahead and interrupt you, my brother. You said that you were talking to two attorneys
yes,
and they're going out to look for a co-counsel.
yes.
So when you say co-counsel, that means that they're co-counsel. So we're talking about, can we get a dollar figure as to what the two attorneys that you are in communication with, what are their fees? That the only reason I'm asking you this, my brother, is so that we as contributors to Ozone Lethal legal funds can be prepared for what's coming down the line, because like you say, we all have to operate on a budget, right? And so we just need to know, are we there? And if the daughters of the sisters of the underground is going to take up whatever slack, whatever it may be, while we continue to grow on our side, what we stand for Ozone. So my question is, poignantly, just the question is, can we at least say that we have secured two attorneys that are willing to take on the case, regardless to if they find co-counsel? Because if you have one and you have another, that's attorney, lead, and co-counsel to me. And then you bring on a third party, and that's another co-counsel. So regardless to if we say out of the two, one's going to take the lead or not, they're still the lead attorneys because they're looking for co-counsel. So, however they negotiate that, we need to know as people who are looking out for Ozone's best interest. And like I said before, my only interest is that he has proper representation going into his trial or pre-trial, whatever it may be. I don't want him represented by a public defender, especially when we know there's so many people that have donated to help his defense. And so we just want to know if
Yeah,
those two attorneys that you have identified,
yeah.
are they willing to take what the sisters of the underground has said they're going to put up, along with what we've already raised? Is that substantial enough to get them started on his case so that he'll have
Them,
proper
them, them,
representation come August 29th? Does he really need a third counsel to represent him on October 29th, at the end of October? Can you answer that question, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we do need a third attorney, and the reason being is that everyone is not death penalty certified. And so one of these two attorneys actually have two different law firms. They are very much interested. They are very much willing to work with us. They are at the lowest end of the spectrum. Literally, when we began speaking to them, they were saying, when we began speaking to the first one, I should say, the brother said he could start to work with us for somewhere in the 70,000s. And then a second attorney came on that I guess they're friends, but they need the other person that has way more experience. These two attorneys, they do not have enough experience and they might not be death penalty certified. So they need somebody who is certified, in the death penalty in order
When you
to.
say certified in death
You
penalty,
have
that
to
means that
you
people
have
who
to
are
have you have to
that
have
when
a
you say
certification.
certified, when you say certified in the death penalty, you're speaking of someone who has tried death penalty cases and won.
You're speaking of somebody who's literally has a certification to try death penalty cases. So they have to have a certification. And so the other attorney, with the 33 years of experience, he would be the individual that, is, I'm, I'm guessing that would really be the lead attorney. So yes, we do need the third person. I can tell you that one of the attorneys has been in business for 2 years, but he does have some other experience, about 4 years of experience working for uh, as a public defender. So he has several years of experience, but he's only had his firm for 2 years. I can't speak to the other one, how many years experience he has, but we absolutely need the other person because they say that we need the other person. And so
Okay,
that's
so
why we've been.
the two attorneys that you have been in communication with, and they're saying they need a third wing to be their lead because he has the experience and the certification. What is his price or price range so that we could be prepared as
Told you
to?
that I wasn't going to speak on that because of the fact that that number is subject to change. And also, I'm not the only one that's involved in these negotiations. And the sisters of the underground do not necessarily want, even this that I'm saying right now, they don't necessarily want us to be out here talking about these things for various reasons. And I'm not going to speak on it until we have a concrete number that I know that I don't have to go back and change.
So that is the reason why you told everyone to continue to donate to the We Stand with
Not
Ozone.com.
not only that, but things are subject to change because of the indigent status. There's a lot of moving parts involved in this. He's subject to a civil suit. He's going to need another attorney for the $5 million civil suit, and we are also considering there might be a need for an appeal. So there are several things that we definitely we when we first started raising funds, we put it at 450,000, and we changed it because we didn't think it was attainable. But that's really where we should have kept it. But it just looks psychologically so daunting to see that bar so far that we just change it. We change it down to 250, and then we change it to 150, and then we change it to 90, and we put it back to 210 because we're not experts. We're just people trying to help our friends. And so we're
Right.
not saying everything was perfect, but we're trying to also work with people something we thought was attainable, and this was died. So all this $150,000 talk was before the policeman died. After he died, that is done and out the window. $150,000. So when we did find somebody that was talking that price range, I was amazed. And of course, that amazement did not last because during the talks, in another, somebody said they wanted more money online and saw some things. And that's how they all, before the officer died, the other attorney thing. The first person that we spoke to in Fort Myers, the attorney that I was talking. So when we get to 30,000, we're gonna go with this guy. Well, has a choice in this too, and the mother of his children also has some say. So if he said, okay, I want y'all to try for Funk and Diamond, and that's how they came into the picture, and they wanted their hunt up front. But after the officer died, they said $500,000. So if they're saying please understand that there are people out there. Most of the other attorneys are circling around that kind of number. And so if we're finding somebody that's saying, okay, 160 and 150, it doesn't mean that are going to agree to that. We couldn't get all three of them to agree to that. And so that's what I don't even want to say what the other person wanted, because it's just going to be another number for somebody, for Negroes to come back and say, oh, now he said this. And then when I come other number on Thursday or whenever, they're going to say, oh, now. And that's just how it goes. It's a fluid situation. There's a lot of moving parts. There are Negroes that know nothing about the law. They've never hired an attorney. They don't know anything that's going on. And they think you're just going out here with $50,000 and that's all money, and you're just going to throw that bag at them. That's how it works. It does not work like that. After the cop died, they don't want to hear that stuff. The numbers that they're telling us, most don't even want to take this case. Okay, most of them are not even returning our calls. That we had in Fort Myers, that guy doesn't even return. Our reason is part of what Negroes do online. Some of the videos and things that are being put out there, things that are being said, it turns people off. They were literally calling Funk and Diamond with the Negro nonsense, and that turns these people off. They look at us as a bunch of clowns. So people are not helping. The more information I give, it's like it's actually harmful, because they take this information, they find ways how to turn it inside out, and said $1.50 yesterday, and now you say it's $1.60, and some people are doing. But I want to say all negativity, because most people are overwhelmingly supportive of me. They're really supportive, especially the sisters. And the sisters have given nations, not to mention the sisters who have lived rescue. And so I want to also keep them in mind in my speaking, and not to be that information, because I did agree not to about these things. But I'll say we just have definitely feel that we're going to get this done before 29. Personally, I don't think there's any doubt about that. We have a good amount of time. But the thing is, we don't want to just grab a situation that's better to take as much time as possible and get it even close to the wire and get it done properly, cohesive, than to grab something and put people together that are not going to work out in the end. That's why I'm going to slow down. I know I said we had the dream, working on the dream team. Let's take our time and get this thing done properly, instead of me just coming back and say, yeah, we got these people, and then it becomes type of nonsense, and people are not doing their jobs and walking away because they come up with another figure later on. We don't want that. That's the last thing. That's what could have happened with Funk and Diamond. If we had given them that money, they would have said, okay, where's the rest of that died? They would have came back with that $500,000, and we would have been out of everything. So, we just have to, we have to slow down is what.
Listen.
I understand that. I understand. And one more thing, my brother. I just want to respond to what the brother just said.
Okay.
I totally understand what you're saying. I do have a little bit of knowledge of how the law works and whatnot. And so I respect that. At the same time, my brother, just moving forward, because we have so many people that are concerned about Brother Ozone and his representation, I think that you are correct in saying that you have to be more tight-lipped on the information that you put out there, because like I mentioned before, people were expecting, the lawyers to be paid by Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, and that did not happen. And I think that is what caused much of the confusion that's going on right now. So I just wanted to recognize the elephant in the room. Like, people are not coming at you para nada. That means for nothing. It's based on the words that you spoke. And so I'm glad you had a chance to clarify these things. So moving forward, because you are the man that's holding the bag per se, it would just be wise, my brother, to give us an occasional update on what's going on with the attorney. After
There's
all,
always been
because
updates.
after
There's
all,
always
that
been
is the why.
updates.
That's the reason. After all, that is the reason why that people were donating for his legal fund. And so when you make an announcement that things are going to be taken care of Tuesday, Wednesday last week, and then nothing has happened, and then we don't really hear from you to clarify as to why that did not happen, then that can cause a great bit of suspect and anxiety in those individuals who are looking to see ozone have the best representation. Because I was looking forward to, donating some more to that dream team, but we have not identified, or as you say, we have not put together that dream team as of yet. And I yield the mic. Thank you, my brother, for having me.
Yes,
I
indeed.
yield the mic.
Yes, indeed. That's a definite great respect to our beloved sister Akoti. And were you wanting to respond to that, Brother Remy?
Yeah, I would respectfully disagree. I don't think that the people the vast majority of people who have been watching my lives and seeing the updates of everything going on are necessarily taking this and saying, "Oh, you said Wednesday." That's not what's going on. There's a very small vocal minority who are deliberately doing things and going to people and saying things, going to other platforms, stirring up things, whispering in people's ears. I'm not saying there's not a few people who might have been waiting on an update, but my updates are not that far between. I don't go like from month to month. I usually give two updates per week. Now, this update might not have come as quickly as people wanted because I have my own life and I've been involved with a lot of talks with lawyers this week. So there was a lot of work going on, right? So I wasn't necessarily jumping out there and saying stuff, but my track record shows I have tons of updates on justice for ozone. I've shown all the money that we've raised. I've been doing lives. I have stuff on Danger Remy on YouTube. I have stuff on Danger Remy on IG, and I have stuff on Justice for Ozone. So it's all there for anybody who cares to see. So my contention is that there's a small group of Negroes that are that hateful that they're going to people like Ozone's mom and manipulating her. They're going to other folks like this guy Bostock, and they're saying these things to these people, and they're using them while they remain mostly in the shadow as cowards, and they're sending these people out here to stir up drama. And I already named for you some of these people. The guy that was saying that we should send him 30% of what we raised so he could give it to Spike. These things, I feel like people are ignoring these things that I'm saying, but these things are extremely important. I don't come out and just call names and say, well, somebody is doing this and they're behaving like a tool. I'm saying that this is actually going on. People are literally behind the scenes. A guy literally said to me that he will do his he will destroy what we're doing. A guy literally said that to me in a DM. The guy that took his $600 back. So people are out here doing these things, and when I every time I see somebody come out and they're vocal and they come out in an accusing manner, I already know that they're sent by the same group of people because they come with the same talking point about the $30,000 and what's Remy doing with the
Well,
funds. And I know exactly who these people are.
we know that anytime we step forward to doing something noble, something honorable, respectful, we're going to have our paparazzi of, opponents. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a given. It's just part of the environment. But, here's my advice to try to bring this all to a rounding full circle. To you, my beloved brother, is to remain focused and keep on being consistent. Um, be as transparent as you can possibly be where it matters to the public. In other words, whatever goes there, give it what it deserves, and whatever isn't, keep it where it should be. Um, but also, I would say don't get too caught up in these hostile critics. I'm talking about the negative critics that don't mean well, no matter what you say. You understand? They're here to bit, as we would say. They're here to. This is a pastime for them. Their comments, they're not really trying to do anything that's productive or that has any real value. 9 times out of 10, they're not doing anything, progressive for the movement themselves. They get on the internet and like I said, they pop on YouTube, and this is something for them to do to entertain themselves. Because in my opinion, a lot of time, that could be used to keep us focused in the direction of supporting ozone is wasted with the back and forth that comes with, you having to tame the waters dealing with these knuckleheads. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I understand that each we have a right to grieve our differences. We have a right to speak our minds, but one of the things that I was striving to achieve here on this platform is to bring it out in a respectful way. You understand? Professional, have our sister, communicate in a respectful, peaceful way. That way your character is respected, you as an individual is respected, and in my perspective, you being the sole link that we have available to us to supporting ozone, it only makes sense that we don't burn this opportunity, by all of this the nonsense. You understand what I'm saying? So, I would say that, yeah, too much energy in defense mode rather than progress mode. Those who care at all will be more interested in seeing the updates on progress as opposed to hours and hours of debates and replies to goofy commentators. Scholars speak with scholars
Exactly.
and have little time for anything else, especially when time is of the essence. Does that make sense?
Agreed. Agreed.
So,
Yes, I agree.
yes, indeed. So that's like I said. This is a platform of nothing but pure respect. I don't have nothing negative to say about Boss Talk or whoever. Nothing negative to say about you yourself, brother. We're here. Like I said, this is soul journey of life right here. This is about God consciousness. This is about black unification and trying to make sure that all of us that are doing something or that are putting ourselves out there to be in the forefront of supporting the cause, that we're on point, that we're staying on code, checks and balances. That's all this is. We know that we're about this cause. We have a right to keep checks and balances between us to make sure nobody's faking the funk, that nobody's just like we saw in one of the lives, there was a sister that was on some other stuff, right? You understand? Remember that there was a sister that was basically running schemes, and she exposed her own self in the course of the conversation. It's important to me, and this is what I mean by being a think tank, a conscious, people that watch and observe and get involved only when necessary to make sure that we are on code. You understand? Because we all can be held to account. None of us is above, um, you know, reprove. You understand? And if we're right, we're right, and all of our fruits will bear witness to that at the end of the day. So I mean, that's basically what I would say here. I don't know if you were looking at the commentary here. There's been, several people who've put forth some questions or whatnot. I didn't get to scroll and observe them all. Some of them I was taking a look at, and all of these are very valid points that people are saying here. Um, on different levels, different degrees of criticism, different degrees of support, and it's all respected. You can take the time to look at that. If there's anything you see you'd like to reply to, now would be the time to do that. And once we can do that,
So
we'll try to round things up to a clean conclusion.
you have someone
Can you get
reading
closer to the mic because it's kind of breaking
right
up there? And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do what I like to
now.
do,
You
and that's support the cause
guys,
of ozone. So I'm going to put this up here. There we go. All right. Are you there? Because we have been on quite a time. The bandwidth might be causing some issues here. I
I
can
can
hear
hear you, brother.
kind of breaking up still. I can hear Sister Cody. I can hear the fish tank.
Yeah.
when I tell you guys, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
'Cause I see the okay. So I'm looking in the commentary and I'm seeing that um, people it doesn't matter what you say, and that's why I'm not going to be, as you say, I'm just going to give my updates and I'm going to keep it pushing. I'm no longer going to be involving myself in any long diatribes
Yeah.
about and explaining things, because I can see that those who have made up their minds have made up their minds. So you have this guy in here, Y2 Kenyan. He says, we want him to pay. Understand that. We want him to pay, but they keep moving the goalposts. So we trying to nip it in the bud.
Hmm.
We do care about our brother, so enough is enough, right? So he's trying to nip it in the bud because we keep moving the goalposts. But I just explained that the whole time since we've been raising money since June or early July, the lawyers have been doing that. The lawyers have been moving the goalposts. So this individual here, in his mind, I am moving the goalposts, or we who are raising funds, we're the ones making up these numbers,
Yeah.
right? And this is what I mean by special people. So he goes on to say, uh, um, so somebody, he says to somebody else, if the job is too difficult, then they should say so, so the community can step in. Right now, they're claiming they're in charge, tell others to, but yet tell others to do something. So let me try to address that. If we say the job is too difficult, exactly who is the community that's going to step in is what I would ask Y2 Kenyan. Who exactly is the community that is going to step in? We say that we're in charge. So again, for the last time, I'm going to say the lawyers are the ones that are changing the goalposts. We have no control over that because we do not have a whole bunch of money to spend.
Yeah.
Also, I would say also, if you want to find out more, you guys can feel free to ask Sisters of the Underground, because obviously they are playing a huge part in this whole situation in terms of the funding. So feel free to reach out to those sisters also, and question them. Obviously, they have not had any problems with me because they have not gone public and said there was an issue. So obviously, we are in agreement in terms of who is talking to the attorneys and about the fees. The sisters have not voiced any problems dealing with Danger Remy. So I think that's also something to look at in terms of,
Pardon
you
me
know,
just a
his.
second here. Okay, for those coming in now, I see some people coming in that might be more critical than the others that have been here. One of the things I'm going to say is that Soul Journey of Life, we're a platform of respect. So, one of the things I'm going to say, salute and peace and blessings to all those coming in because I have nothing but respect for you. But in turn, you understand, I only welcome a respectful presence. So when the thing I'm not going to want to be interested in seeing personally is a bunch of negative shots being blasted at our guests. So if we can comment and communicate in a respectful way, then I have no problem with keeping the flow of comments going on. But if that can't happen, then of course I have no choice but to block. And that's just out of respect. That's not meaning any ill feelings or anything. But I like to keep things clean. Okay, so it is what it is. But
All right. So
okay,
yeah,
so we're gonna do this.
I
Oh,
see the
so
struggle.
if I could, if you allow me, my brother, to just chime in on a bit. I know that there's a lot of negativity coming towards you, brother Remy, and I just have to say that when we take on a position of representing a matter of such magnitude, then we have to always be cognizant and respectful of those who are supporting your efforts. And that would, when I say supporting your efforts, that would be the 900 and so contributors. And they may not be 900 exactly, but because some of us have contributed multiple times. And so what I'm saying is, um, we always have to be mindful of how we address one another and how we communicate with one another. We should never make each other feel like we're less than or we don't have a proper understanding, because this is a matter of feelings. We all feel for Ozone
Yeah.
because we're free, but he's locked up, and we're all saying that, hey, it's something intrinsically wrong with how they targeted our brother.
Yeah.
You know, those things have yet to be played out. And my only concern, I'm going to say it once again, is that he has his chance in court in order to tell us what happened, because we don't know what happened. All we have is a 23-second altered video clip that the police department speedily put out to sway the masses, per se. And so when we have controversy going on surrounding his legal defense fund, that only adds to the fuel, that only adds fuel to the fire that the mass media has put out there as our brother Ozone murdered the cop. That's what they're saying. But we of us that support him, number one, we want to have him have his say in court. And number two, there's substantial evidence out there that says that, hey, we have major questions for the Daytona Police Department
Mm.
that needs to be answered. So by no means can we say this is a clear-cut case of murder beyond a reasonable doubt. There is reasonable doubt out there. And so what I will say to you, brother Remy, is that because you are so-called holding the bag, and I hate to use that terminology, but that's what my people understand. I just believe in my heart of hearts that it is beholden upon you, and that you have, and I'm not going to say that you haven't, But over the course of the last 2 weeks, we have not been giving a substantial amount of updates coming from you rather than what you said on Michi X platform. Um, I will say again, my brother, I give all praises to the Most High for your efforts,
Yeah.
for you starting the We Stand with Ozone.com page in order to encourage us to donate for Ozone's legal defense fund moving forward, um, to avoid all of this controversy and all of the naysayers, my brother. I'm going to sincerely ask you just to keep us informed on the progress with the attorneys,
Yeah.
whether or not we have one, the co-counsel has been, a lead attorney has been assigned or ascertained. Um, I can't imagine attorneys not being able to give you a projected figure. And if they're doing that, then that is not like, that's not right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going to tell you that from being working in the legal field before, and that's my understanding of how things and how lawyers work. And so, my brother, I'm just going to say to you, um, be very mindful of how you communicate with the public, because believe it or not, they do have a right to know as much as you are legally able to give without
Yeah.
compromising Ozone's confidentiality, right? Um, that thing that needs to be considered, especially when you are holding, I guess what, $53,000. Um, Pushback is going to be expected
Yeah.
because that's a lot of money, and because we have been brainwashed to believe we can't trust our brethren,
Right.
we must really um, make it an effort beyond what the call of duty would be, because we know we're dealing with our brethren, like you say, Negroes, right? We know we're dealing with Negroes. So if you have updates that you can give us, even in regards to um, daily intake. I'm not saying to go live daily and tell us what that is and update us daily, but just inform the people of the progress of his representation, because I think that's what the most important thing is that people feel secure that they have donated to a legal fund
Yeah.
and he has proper legal representation. So on that note, my one last question to you, my brother, is that is it any way possible to make everybody feel good and to get the monkey off of your back? Is it any way possible that you can transfer those funds from a personal account into a trust account for Othal Wallace? Is that possible?
I mean, I could, but why would I do that at this stage when we're looking to make a payment? I mean, I
When
don't.
you're what? I'm sorry.
I could put it in a trust account, but why would I do that at this stage when we're literally looking at any moment we could be making a payment? I might have to write a check in 2 days. I don't understand. I don't understand why I would do it at this later stage.
Okay. So well, I guess what I was getting at was that I wasn't quite sure from your previous answer to the question in regards to the third attorney. I wasn't quite sure how close you were to signing that deal. So, in light
Yeah,
of that, can you tell
that's
us? Can you tell us if that is that possible that he could have representation by the end of next week? Is that possible? Is
yeah,
that what
that's
you're looking
possible.
at?
That's possible, and it's also possible that it could go till next month. That's what I'm saying. That's just the thing. We don't know. I can't tell you what I don't know. The lawyers don't know, so they're still working things out. Like I said. Now, I also will say this. I also welcome, or we also welcome anyone who has a better handle on it and who can bring us an attorney. with a with a fee, a flat fee, and who's going to do a better job and who can say, okay, this is the amount and it's set and done. We also welcome that. So anybody in the chat room or anyone that has questions, or any type of ability to look for an attorney, please refer us to
Yeah.
these people if you know these people, because obviously they're, like I said, they're people who have a lot of opinions. So please help us. And if you don't think that the way that we're handling it, we're taking too long, and this is dragging out, please refer us to the attorney that you have. And this is to anyone that's listening. Please refer us to two attorneys that are ready to go, that are ready to take this bag that I'm holding and be on their way. Please bring those attorneys forward, because we're also welcoming, and I've also said that prior. I'll also say this: I did not say the attorneys didn't give me a ballpark figure. I said I wasn't going to comment on it because it's subject to change. That's a difference. So I just wanted to make that clear. And again, I'll say yes, this could happen tomorrow, and it could happen next week, and it could happen next month. And so we have to just be ready to go when they're ready. And the sister was asking me, from the sister underground, she's been texting me saying, "Hey, what's up?" And she can attest that I was ready to pay them on the first Zoom call conference that we had, and that would have been foolish, and they didn't get back to me
Mm.
about it because they weren't ready. And so I was waiting, and the sister is asking me, and I'm like, "Well, I'm still waiting." And then I send a text, and they're like, "Well, we'll get back to you." And this is what's going on. So no, yes, I didn't come back and say yes. I spoke to her and she said, and then we're still. I didn't say that, but like I said, if you see the stuff that I've put out, for the most part, with the exception of this one occasion, I've been transparent. I literally showed my bank account online, man. Like there's no. I refuse to even acknowledge that I have not been transparent. That's not happening. So
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to even say that, my brother. I was just in referring to, like you said, on this last time. And when you say the last time, I think you're talking about the last time you went on Michi X show and said that the attorneys were going to be paid Tuesday, Wednesday of last week. And so I understand what you're saying. And so I'm not trying to say that you're not trying to be transparent. I'm simply saying that from me following all the different lives and this, that, and other, I'm reading the pulse of the people, and the pulse of the people are saying that they just want to know, do we have an attorney or attorneys, the dream team that you spoke of, and have they been paid? And that's the crux of the whole matter for whatever happened, transpired over the weekend. Um, Going into this first day of the week. Almost it's Sunday. You feel me in some areas. So all I'm trying to say, my brother, is that I appreciate you for starting the We Stand with Ozone legal fund on WeStandWithOzone.com. If the point of the matter is that it may be the fact that we need to raise more funds in order to pay this third attorney, then I will encourage my people to continue to donate to WeStandWithOzone.com. And then I will also say my last words to you, my brother Remy, is that always be ready to hear um, comments and respond to those comments, because after all, what this is all about is to get Ozone the proper representation so he'll have his just day in court to tell his story, because we don't know what his story is. And so I think that's the crust of a lot of people's anxiety, is that we want to be sure that he's able to tell his story with proper representation defending him in this matter. So I give all praise to the Most High for you being with us, Remy, and standing here to answer these questions. Love you with the love of Yahuwah. And I thank you for your efforts. And I pray that the Most High continue to give you strength and give you good guidance that you lead yourself in righteousness,
Yes.
no matter, no matter.
Yes, indeed. And
And
in addition to that, brother Remy, like I say, just continue to stay focused, continue doing what you know is right to do. You have to consult your heart and make sure that you're following uh, the essential components that your heart communicates to you to do, and listen to that divine voice, if you would. Um, let's see here. I'd like to ask you to make sure that that flyer that I put up there, that's the appropriate flyer for how if people want to continue to support and further support. That flyer contains the proper information, right?
I wasn't paying attention
Let's
honestly,
see here.
but I mean, it's just usually just
I put it
we
back
still.
up there. It basically it's the one that says wanted.
I mean, can you just put we stand with ozone.com on the
Yeah,
screen? Or
that's what the flyer says. It says we stand with ozone.com. It looks like it's a PayPal.
yes,
Okay,
yeah.
so they're seeing that, they're able to see that right now, and we want to make sure that those of us that are concerned about Ozone's situation, this is our method of supporting him and getting his legal team together. So let's, take a note. And if you are interested in supporting, go ahead and follow the link that you see on the screen there, the flyer that you see there, and that will put you in a position to do your part. I definitely have a great respect for you, brother Remy, and it was a pleasure to have you here on this live, as well as Sister Okoti. Always a pleasure. You're always welcomed, and you as well, brother, always welcomed. And we have nothing but respect here. For those that are guests, our commentators, our viewers, this was simply, an attempt to allow our brother to speak his piece. And yeah, he has been speaking and speaking and speaking, and he's done enough to defend himself, if you ask me. But like the sister says, there's certain things that the people are in fact privy to know when it comes to where they put their money. But I believe we have with us on our hands a respectable brother and who's doing the best that he can do given the circumstances. So I would recommend and highly encourage that we continue supporting and continue aiding, because Ozone needs our help. As you know, he's facing serious charges that need the best that money can provide when it comes to a legal defense team. Um, so with that said, peace and respect, peace and blessing to you, dear brother Remy, and shalom, dear sister Koti. And you both have a blessed and wonderful rest of your evening.
Peace and blessings, family.
Yes, indeed.
Shalom, my brothers. Y'all have a good evening.
Likewise.
Shalom.
Peace, peace.
Okay, so let me do this here. Boom. All right, family. So there you have it. I definitely appreciate everybody that attended this live, and this live was intended to be nothing but a respectful live. I understand that we have so many different views. We have a lot of powerful commentaries. Peace and respect. I see Omo Yamoja here, a great, respectful, intellectual black queen on the scene right here. I see several others that have made some powerful commentary. Let's see, Space Frog, um, in need. Uh, Yissa's chosen one. I've seen quite a few. I can't see all of your names. I'm just kind of scrolling quickly. Talawa, all the same for me. Peace and blessings to all of you, and your presence here has been greatly appreciated. Um, just make sure we're all doing our part. If you know what you need to do, if you know the right approach to this, if you know the right method, then let's just simply implement it. Let's just simply manifest that way. You understand? So that way, our way, if it is proper, if it is the better way, the noble way, that people see that light coming from us demonstrating it. Let's see here. So hopefully, the brother, it looks like he will continue to keep us up to date as he's been doing on IG. You also have seen him on, his IG is, I believe, is Danger Remy. You also seen him on OC the Great TV's platform. So I would suggest just continue checking in, you understand, on these platforms to stay up to date if that's what you wish to do. Otherwise, you understand, just keep standing on for the cause, and you yourself, me myself, let us stay on code and deal with this cause properly and keep our focus strong and in the proper direction. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. You understand? All I can say, this is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Quest Man. I bid you salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shalom, hotep, peace be with you. Have a blessed night. Take care.